do we see that channels are getting removed, so we don't end up in 200-300 channels, and the last 200 no one is really watching and not get monetized? Will they stay on, or will we see a constant curation of the number of channels in the platforms?
Well, right now it's a little bit of natural selection. I mean, if you go to Roku, there's, thousands of channels, but not thousands of channels watched. So, so the audience is governing that to some degree. But I also think, as things fill up, people are going to need to take something off to put something else on. And I think we're actually moving into that phase of the industry pretty quickly, actually.
But are we then risking that we're losing the independent, small niche channels that very few watch in competition with the large shows, the originals, the more costly shows?
I mean, well, the risk is there, but let's hope not. I'm sorry, Cameron, I interrupted you.
No. I was just going to say, look, there has to be a bar, right? We need to avoid the scenario where, this is obviously a fast growing, really popular area, and that attracts everybody, right? And so you've got to have a bar. There needs to be a certain amount of programming on a channel. You need to program it a certain way. I think 2 or 3 years ago, people were phoning it in and just throwing up, whatever, just organizing it into a wheel and just putting up there. Like we have a dedicated team. We program it like television. We have day parting. We're really thoughtful about that. So there's got to be a bar. On the other end of the spectrum, it comes back to discoverability. I think we want thousands of channels that people can access. If there's something that you're passionate about and you're interested in, you should be able to find a channel that has quality programming. And, I think if we can use that sort of programming bar as sort of a forcing mechanism and then add discoverability to it, it's really going to benefit everybody.
Marisa, how do you balance this with the big sports and the big events, with the more niche sports and maybe a little bit less popular things? How do you balance that so you still get both on your platform?
Yeah, it's a good question. I mean, it's something we dabble with kind of on the daily. I mean, we are looking to have a constant curation. The good thing is that Fubo is a relatively young company, right? We're 7 years old. And so we don't fit within the boundaries of the traditional space. So we are free to experiment, and we have with what we think is right. Pretty sure the founders of Fubo would have never imagined in 2022 we would be launching as many fast channels, and we would be as present in the fast space as we are. That being said, we want to make sure that the new channels that we've added to the platform have a chance to bake, that folks can find them, and that we give them a shot. And so I don't think it's fair for us to say, we are looking for things and we are being selective. And like I said, we want to have a good general entertainment offering outside of the main sports focus. But we also want to give, channels a shot, especially for the newer brands or digital brands that may or not be as well known as the HDTVs of the world, et cetera. So for us, it's a matter of launching them and then, taking a risk to add them, and maybe taking a risk to take them down if at some point we feel like it, they're not pulling their weight from a viewership perspective.